Yo, what's up, everybody? Maddie Mental Health Checkup
Check up.
Remix.
So
today, okay, so
sorry, I'm tired. Preached all weekend. All weekend.
Oh, you did a ladies' retreat, and then you did it twice on Sunday morning, and just to kind of celebrate where you are. 2 years ago, Mother's Day, you had your sermon built. You agreed to do Mother's Day, and then because of the internal tension or whatever battle you stepped away from, and you were like, hey, I can't preach Mother's Day. It's on you. So I stepped in, preached for it. It was great, phenomenal. But this year, you not only preached Mother's Day twice, you also preached at a ladies' retreat on Friday night. Yes. Crushed that. Crushed Sunday. It was amazing. And so I celebrate where you are, how far you have come. I celebrate that and rejoice at that. And you've come so far that this morning you set up a counseling session with me to be invited in.
Yes.
I didn't know that it was actually a counseling session for me.
Honestly, I didn't think it was going to be.
I thought I was just going to be in there for a few minutes.
I did too. Just a few minutes, just checking in on how things are going.
And she was like, nope, I'm going to tackle that crazy fella right there.
She got you. She got you, not me.
And
she got you. So
you just sat over there.
Tides have changed. The tide has changed.
So now it's a Jamie mental health checkup or something.
Mental health.
Maddie Remix. Okay, so I learned today that
Well, let's start from why.
Okay, sure.
Why? So, praise the Lord, medicine's leveled out. Everything's back to normal. I think I had said that on the last one. Haven't had very many concerns or issues or whatever. Mentally, I have felt good. I don't know. We've taken extra rest. You have not, but I have because I have learned what my rest needs to be.
Right.
So I am at a point where I have boundaries and I follow those boundaries. Even though sometimes I want to go beyond those boundaries, I still stay within my boundaries and I don't want to push them.
Give me an example of a time where you wanted to go beyond the boundary.
I would have loved to have went with you guys on that kamikaze. We're going to Iowa to visit the new campus. We're going to go to Illinois and visit that campus. I would have loved to have done that. Would have totally loved to have done that. That camera's moving and it just freaked me out.
Yeah.
I didn't know it did that.
It does.
Sorry. Could have been a little mental health scare right there. I thought, camera, why is that moving? What is happening?
How would that have been a mental health scare?
Maybe I'm seeing things that I shouldn't be seeing. Anyways, that is something I would have loved to have done. I would have loved to have went.
Just traveled the week prior?
Just traveled the week. No, you had traveled the week prior. No, we had just traveled the week prior. We went on.
I had traveled the week prior to that, so I was gone 3 weeks in a row.
This was 3 weeks in a row, right? Out of the 3 weeks, out of 21 days, Jamie was only home for 5.
No, that's not true.
In a row.
Just made that
in
up.
In a row.
Okay.
2 in a row. 1 week. 2 in a row the other week. Yes.
Okay.
In a row.
It was busy.
He was very busy.
Yeah.
And so my concerns really haven't been for myself lately. They've been for you. Like my book. This is my counseling session book. This is probably like my...
And I'm all in that book, and I don't like being in that book.
This is probably my 6th or 7th book, and I keep them all. But the last couple of sessions, and I only do it every other week. I have progressed to every other week. We still do check-ins, simple ones, like I'll get a text message from her, hey, do you need to talk? Any concerns? And I'll be like, no, I've been great. Like, we can totally wait until next week type thing. And she's always really good about, okay, if you need me, please reach out. Which I think she does that because of guilt.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll talk about guilt here in a minute.
But everything's been about my amazing husband lately. I am worried about him. I'm not worried about him mentally. I'm worried about him physically. I'm not worried about him spiritually. He is spiritually sound. You're incredible. You are good.
Thank you.
I just don't want you to wear yourself thin, and I don't want burnout for you, and I don't want you to. I think a lot of like the sicknesses that's been going around and all of that, like, we're trying to work on our health a little bit, and I don't want you to fizzle. I don't want anything to happen to you because I don't want to live my life without you.
And I don't want anything to happen to me either.
Okay.
So I am in
Good to know.
agreement with that.
Okay. Good to know. So I'd been, talking all of my little triggers about I need to make sure that I am communicating my struggles with him as well as with my counselor. I need to tell him what's going on and what has been happening. And so I may have mentioned some things to her my last appointment, which was at the end of April. And she may have mentioned in passing to her husband, which this is not a HIPAA violation. This is none of that. So any of you guys that are
family friends.
we are family friends.
Yep.
Known them for a very long time. She may have, mentioned to her husband, who's also a counselor, good family friend. Hey, why don't you check on Jamie? I hear he's just, very busy and constantly
We
going.
don't know what she said.
We don't know.
Right.
That's what I'm assuming.
Right. You're putting
That's what I'm
context on
assuming.
something we're not sure of.
Right.
She may have just said, "Hey, check on Jamie."
Right. She probably
She
could
may
have.
not. She may have just prayed about it, and he just decided to check on me.
And
Checked
he
on
did.
me. And I told him whenever he checked on me, I said, "Yeah." I said, "I almost reached out to you today because here goes where I'm at. Where I'm at is Maddie says." I'm good. I can't run at the pace. We've talked about this on here.
The last one we
I
did.
can't run at the pace you're running at. And the conversation is, but I don't want to slow you down. You keep running, and you're just going to have to understand that I can't run at that pace. Totally good. Totally cool with that.
Right.
To which then it kind of shifted recently to, hey, you can't run at that pace either because you're going to get burnt out. And so I told him, I was like, I'm just, kind of working through some of these emotions. And so he gave me a book. He said, "Hey, can I give you a book?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." So he wrote in the book a little letter to me, and just the book was phenomenal. It was called Leading on Empty. Pastor in Hawaii, went through a lot of stuff and ultimately learned a lot of lessons through a really season of burnout inside of his life. And so we then went on a little anniversary getaway. I read the whole book while we were on the anniversary getaway. And what I said was, I'm not where this guy is in the
Right.
book, but I totally can see how you get there.
Right.
So I need to do some things different. I need to change some things in my life so that I don't get there. In ministry, there are so many things that are incredible blessings to our life by having the role in which we have inside of ministry. But there are so many things that are so incredibly unfair.
Mm-hmm.
I typically don't talk about these things, but as we're talking mental health and where I'm at mentally, I typically don't talk about these things. The unfair expectations that people put on you, the unfair, unrealistic expectations, the unfair, the harsh criticisms that you get for stuff that all you're trying to do is protect you and your family. So if somebody calls me or texts me at 8 o'clock at night or calls me at 8 o'clock at night, there's expectation that I'm answering that call. It doesn't matter how there's no thought to them or to anybody else in their life that I have poured myself out all day long.
Right.
I've got to guard my family time. I've got to guard our relationship. I've got to guard this. So there's no thought pattern of that. And so there's a lot of unfair, unrealistic, unique parts of what we do in ministry.
I think, let me just say with that, not growing up in church, but just hearing a lot of people that deal with that battle. You have a bug crawling on your leg right there. See it? Thank you. Trigger warning. Bug. It was just like a little beetle, I think, from us being outside. Just had a little microburst or tornado that came through about an hour ago. So we were outside cleaning up. I think that I will say back in the older days, or for some of those churches that are just a little bit, that are a little smaller than us, their go-to is always pastor. Well, I need to talk to pastor. Like, nobody else can help me. I need to talk to pastor. When there's so many other people that people have in place to handle that, not because you don't want to, but just because you can't do it all. And, like some things are other people's callings and can do so much better, but some people don't understand that and just only want to get to the pastor.
Yeah, and I will say here in our current ministry, it's probably not our issue as much. Our issue now is just criticism about unfair criticism is what I would say. From social media to messages that you get, you're doing your best. You're trying your best with the purest heart to live and to do and to be, and it feels like everything you do, there's a hint of criticism behind it. From, we go on an anniversary trip and it's like, hey, I don't say this out loud, but in my head I'm like, I'm not posting pictures of this because somebody's going to criticize that you and I got away for our anniversary.
Right.
Anything that we spend money on, we know we're going to get criticized for it. Any trip that we go on, we know we're going to get criticized for it. Anything, and it's such a weird place. And so from that creates a lot of guilt in me, to where I was probably from childhood type stuff, not from my parents, but just ministry type stuff I was raised in. You feel guilty not being there for people. You feel guilty whenever you have to tell them no, or guilty whenever you have to tell them that, you can't take the call, or they text you and they're like, hey, can I call you right now? And you know that you have a rule right now of I'm not texting anybody until 12, to not text them back knowing they're waiting for a response from you. You feel guilt. You feel guilt whenever, a smaller church calls you and says, hey, can you come preach for me? You want to go preach for them, but then you feel guilt. You're like, is the reason I'm saying no because they're a smaller church, and now all they're going to think is, oh, Jamie only preaching big churches nowadays. And so there's just so much warped guilt inside of me for how I do ministry and walking out my calling.
Okay.
So this was the conversation that we got to today.
Yes, which ended up oddly being all about unpacking you.
It's your fault. You brought me into the room.
I love it. So knowing that guilt, it drives you, right?
Yep.
It drives you. In so many different areas of your life, which I hate. I hate that. I think how you grew up, not like from your parents, but just how you saw things happening in the church and all of that, and then how somebody that didn't grow up in that, how a childhood can like build who you are as a adult and how you do things in life.
Which again, it's incredible. Miss Pam said this today. Like I celebrate that thing inside of you of like it's what God has used to drive you, to get you to where you are. Right. But we have to reframe the concept of guilt.
Right. Do you understand what reframing is?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I know I shouldn't feel guilty. I feel responsibility. That's the word she kept saying. Right. I feel responsibility for those things. But I can't feel the condemnation that's attached to guilt.
Right. And you had just preached on this. The last time I feel like you preached was about this.
Yeah, the difference between the Holy Spirit conviction and the enemy's condemnation. And again, I don't feel condemned to hell. And so guilt's probably a bad word. I don't feel condemned to hell like, oh, you're terrible. I feel like burdened and responsible, and I can't believe I'm not Superman and I'm unable to do all the things that I want to do.
Right.
So there was a point in our talks where you were like, wow, that helps me so much. Well, what was that conversation?
I think a lot. So we are very different. He is driven by getting new things going and starting new things, and all of this stuff where he can start things, and he is okay with getting them off the ground, but then finding leaders and raising up leaders to handle all the different things like we have going on, like the South Africa and the new Iowa campus and all the other things that are happening. I see it as, oh my gosh, we can't fit anything else into our life. Like, what is this going to cause? This is where the worry comes in of, okay, he's going to be gone more. He's adding more to his plate. And at this point, like I feel very healthy where I am, and I don't want to add anything on because I am doing good and I want to just kind of plateau for a little bit where I don't want to overexert myself or whatever. I just, it's when you go through trauma and traumatic things, no matter what it is, and you finally hit like a sweet spot, sometimes you just want to stay in the sweet spot for a little bit where you can heal a little bit. But we were talking about this and how that's kind of how everything started with, I'm worried about him. I'm worried about his health and I don't want him to burn out. I need him here more than the entire world needs him and everything else. I need him. Like I need my husband. Yes, everybody needs him as a pastor and a friend, but I don't know what I would do if I didn't have you here. So that was like a big thing that had been weighing on me. Like I wanted you to go, but I didn't want to stop you, but I wanted you to calm down because I don't want to live life without you. But today we were in talking with Miss Pam. He had said, God has given him this gift to start stuff, but then be able to give it to someone and let them run with it. So knowing that, having that conversation, like if we would have had that conversation a little while ago when everything was going on, or just me understanding that he is good with starting it and then letting people take the lead and take over, and he just kind of will come in when he needs to and make sure everything's okay. It kind of took the pressure off of not the pressure off of me, but the pressure off of the situation where, okay, he's not going to be traveling all the time and he's not going to be, being stretched thin. So that helped a lot.
I have a lot going on. If you were to just look at all of it in list form, you would think I am way busier than I am. But God has surrounded me with some incredible people, surrounded us with some incredible people, to where I'm not the one that's stressed about campuses week in and week out. Irvin's the one stressed about campuses week in and week out. I have a meeting with Irvin once a week where we talk through campuses and what that looks like and what do you need from me and how can I help you. But ultimately, hey, here goes an idea. Hey, here goes some. But ultimately, it's Irvin that has the responsibility day in and day out to worry about campuses. And so for me, that's how it is with every detail of the ministry, where there is an apostolic, kind of gifting in me to start something. She talked about the plate spinning, you get plate spinning and one's about to fall and you're grabbing it and trying to spin the next one. And there is this kind of apostolic gifting inside of me to get a plate started spinning and then being able to raise up a leader to hand it off to, and then just check on them to make sure that they are. And again, you look around our staff, like this is the story of our staff. Mm-hmm. The Samanthas of the world and the Irvins of the world and the Christies of the world and the Rachels of the world. None of these people were on staff anywhere else. All these people are, and again, it's probably everybody. I can't think of anybody that's, maybe Joseph or Johnny or Simeon. No, not even Simeon, but people who are on staff somewhere else. Basically, everybody else here is new. It's been somebody that I've started a plate spinning and said, here, this is your plate. Now keep it spinning. Mm-hmm. And then some people get so confident in that one that they're able to get another plate spinning or two or three or four or whatever. And so for me, that doesn't stress me out. You seeing me do that stressed you out for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not stressed. I'm good.
I know you say that, but I think because I don't ever know if you're saying that as a defense mechanism to stop me from spiraling out, or if you really are good.
Yeah.
Like that's where things are right now. Like, you know that I'm doing good, and I know how you are, and I know how you'd be like, no, everything's great, because you don't want me to spiral. So it's kind of like, I kind of like I could feel the heaviness from like all of the traveling and all of the stuff
No doubt.
you were doing.
I was exhausted.
Yes.
Physically, I have, again, I had a great opportunity next week that I had to cancel, which by the time this comes out, will have already passed. But I had to cancel an awesome opportunity. I've had to do that at least twice this year, maybe even 3 times this year, where I've had to cancel awesome opportunities that were personal opportunities that affected, that blessed nobody but me. They were just selfish, personal, awesome opportunities that were really cool. But I had to cancel those because traveling doesn't fill me up.
Right.
It is not one of those things where, getting away with you, traveling with you, going to a place where, even with the family, going to the mountains or whatever, like that fills me up to where it's us and we know what we're doing. But traveling and doing ministry doesn't fill me up. It is very draining. And so doing that multiple times over and over and over again is very draining. And, I love the comfort of the office, the house, the bed with you, I love my life. And so doing all those definitely is emotionally and mentally draining, physically draining, traveling a lot. So yes, for sure I was drained.
Right. So the little opportunity that you have next week, which will then be like 2 weeks past, you canceled it, and you're saying you canceled it because of physically drained. Now, are you physically drained, or is it guilt because of something that I've said, or
I don't
or is
play
it
golf
because
anymore
it's
because
selfish?
of guilt.
You know what I mean?
I don't play golf anymore because of guilt. I feel guilty going and playing golf. This trip specifically, it was really crazy travel. It really didn't line up. It was really hard. It was not going to work well inside of life. I would have almost had to miss another Sunday. I've already missed 2 in a row, Tony and then you. I can't miss another Sunday. So anyways, there was a lot of reasons why. It wasn't just like this one reason, like I'm exhausted. It was like a lot of reasons why this trip just isn't going to work. And at first, it was not the way the guy who kind of booked it had to book some front end stuff, so he was going to get there a couple days early. Anyways, long story short, it just is not lining up with me. And honestly, like traveling, me, traveling to somewhere new, getting a rental car, and going to some place all by myself is not me.
Yeah.
Like I am not that guy.
No.
I don't mind at all going somewhere I've never been. Like, somewhere that I've been, like going up and down to Greenville or Malden or whatever for meetings, I don't mind doing that by myself at all. But getting on a plane and going to Canada and getting out of the plane and getting a rental car and driving 6 hours through crossing my fingers and hoping there's no crazy bridges that I'm walking over, like that's not me at all. I'm not that guy.
Yeah. He is that guy. He will, if like he and Caleb went to Cincinnati and he called me and I had to find the directions on Google Maps and make sure that he wasn't going over water or which way had the least amount of bridges or whatever, because he just doesn't like to do any of that.
I'm not a huge fan of that. Doesn't fill my tank. Traveling doesn't fill my tank. in settings like that.
Yeah. No. Okay. The guilt thing.
The guilt thing.
The
guilt thing.
So, how if some people have a hard time saying no to things because of guilt, and some people are really great at saying no to things. Because you just get. I don't know if you get to a point. I don't want to say that I get to a point where I just don't care. It's a little bit of that and a little bit of I'm just at a place in my life for what's best for me and my family and my kids. And, if you don't understand that I'm going to say no and you're not okay with me saying no, then, obviously I don't need to do that for you or whatever, like if they have an issue. But if somebody's going to come in to your office and say, oh, yeah, like if a fellow pastor comes in or, one of your employees comes in and they are just ridden with guilt because they just can't seem to say no or because there's just too much going on, but they feel like they're letting God down because, they're saying no to an opportunity. Like, how do you walk them through that with it not with not feeling guilt whenever they do have to say no? Like, what would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say
because Miss Pam kind of asked him this, and he did what he does sometimes and just spun it into what.
No, I don't think she asked me. I think she was asking.
No, normally when she asks me that, I have to answer her.
Yeah, I think she was asking, but then we both smiled knowing what we were saying, which was.
Did you see me roll my eyes there?
Yeah. So for me, I would say I totally get it, and I don't have an answer for you. But I would say put up some guardrails to protect you so that, and this is one of the things I said today,
right?
I have to do a better job of putting up guardrails to where when somebody calls me, I am going to struggle telling you no to your face. I'm not going to do it. I'm actually going to say, if you want something to me, just come up and ask me face to face. I'm going to give it to you. Whatever it is, doesn't matter.
That's not true.
Not
with everybody.
Say it again?
Not with everybody.
No, but I'm just saying, like that is really challenging for me. And so I've already started putting up some guardrails, some things to where I say, hey, let me get back with you. Or, hey, let's set up a time to talk or whatever. So I've tried to create some boundaries in that area. The guilt attached to it is typically momentary.
Okay.
That I make a decision because I face the guilt.
Right.
And I make a decision, but when I step back and think through it, I can make sense of what is happening and go, okay, you don't have to feel guilty about this. You know what I mean? Like I can make sense of it. It's just the momentary boom, you're hit with it and you're like, yikes. Yes, of course I will come do your grandfather's funeral that I've never met before and
right. So
drive 4 hours to do that, right. Whatever it is.
Instead of saying, can you give me just a little bit to think about this? I need to check my calendar. I need to see what's going on. Thank you so much for the opportunity, but let me just check to make sure everything's okay instead of immediately saying yes.
Yeah, it is something that I'm not great at.
Right.
Yeah, it is something that, especially ministry opportunities, because for me, I tell the Lord all the time, whenever I went to Iowa the first time, and we visited, we walked around the property, and I just asked the people that were showing us around, I said, can I just have 15 minutes in the sanctuary alone? And so I was in the sanctuary just on my face in the altar crying and praying and saying, God, I don't know nothing about Iowa. I've lost nothing in Iowa. I've never been to Iowa other than, one time. Like I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, what am I doing here, Lord? Mm-hmm. But if this is something you want from me, then I want to do this well. But if this is something you don't want from me and I'm just trying to, puff myself up by saying, oh, we've got another campus in Iowa. If this is something I'm trying to do, then please, God, don't let me do this, because I don't need one more thing on my plate.
Right.
And so that's kind of where I'm at right now is, God, I need this. Instead of used to, it was, I'm just saying yes to any ministry opportunity because it is ministry and it's what you do. Now I'm saying, God, I don't want to miss your voice, and I don't want to miss your plans for my life. And I want to say yes to everything that is of you, but I also don't want to just say yes to everything, because there's a lot of things that I say yes to that feel like ministry that I walk away from and feel drained and discouraged because I spent how many ever hours doing those things.
Right. You know, it's okay to say no, and it's okay to say, let me get back to you. I think that's just super important, instead of not guilt tripped, but feeling like you have to answer right away. If they're calling you last minute where they think that you need to answer right away, that's on them. That's not on you. You don't need to answer right away.
Yep.
You need to.
Yeah, it's typically not them forcing an answer from me. It's typically them asking and me quickly saying yes. I think if I said, hey, let me check my calendar, I'm sure everybody would say, yeah, of course, let me know. It happened last week where I got asked to do a camp meeting, and hey, let me check my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
On my phone, I saw nothing, and I just told him, I said, hey, I'm looking on my phone right now, I see nothing, but let me know. Let me get to the church tomorrow, check my church calendar, and I'll let you know. And then check the church calendar, and then I was like, man, that date feels weird for me. Something's going on that date. Why do I have this blocked out? Oh, yeah, this is why. Hey, sorry, I can't do that.
Right. Good for you. And did you feel guilty?
No. I mean...
Did you feel guilty?
I feel... Maybe the word isn't guilt. Maybe the word is... I feel... humbled by an opportunity, and I don't want to miss those opportunities. I appreciate people thinking of me and wanting me to be a part of those moments. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to miss those opportunities. I want to make sure that I say yes to the things I need to say yes to. But oftentimes that is me just saying yes to everything. Yes.
Well, I'm proud of you.
And again, for me, it's not even just a denominational thing, going and preaching other places. It's inside of our church as well, staff as well. There's we did something this morning that's not typical, and even our daughter was like, "What? Yeah, stupid," and we're like, "Yeah, but we're doing it for me, for us," and it was, this morning on the way in, you're like, was that what you thought? Is that what you were expecting? And I was mm-hmm. like, I mean, look at what we accomplished this morning by doing it this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so even people inside of my own house won't even understand some of the decisions that you're making to protect your own mental health or your own spiritual journey or your walk or whatever. So I would say to the pastors out there watching this, the people in your church certainly aren't going to understand.
Right.
And one of the things in the book, the guy took a sabbatical, and he got an email from one of the church members that said, hey, you keep telling us how you're away for 3 months, and just want to let you know that I work hard as well, and I'd love to have a 3-month vacation, but my job doesn't afford that to me. It'd be really nice if we had our pastor come back. And anyways, it was just people not understanding. It's ironic, okay? People don't understand the weight that is placed upon the pastor's shoulders. They don't understand the mental, physical, emotional, spiritual weight placed upon him or her. But they also expect from them in a way that is creating this mass exodus from the pulpits, because pastors are struggling to carry the weight that has been placed upon them. And so I don't want to get to that place. So I want to make decisions now to protect me. Be proactive to the pastors watching this. Be proactive to protect yourself, your life, your family from getting to the place to where burnout's a possibility, or to where you start feeling mentally fatigued, or you start feeling emotionally drained or spiritually disconnected, man, give me a call. I'd love to have a quick chat with you and recommend a book for you, because I don't ever want you to get to a place to where you want to throw in the towel, when there's some things that you could do if you could just silence the noise around you.
Yeah. Shut those barking dogs up.
It would be nice if we could.
Yeah.
As shepherds, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Y'all go watch the Sheep Detectives.
It was cool. Cool movie.
Good movie. Good little
Thanks for my therapy
biblical
session
stuff.
today.
You're welcome. Thanks for allowing me to try to dig in, even though
I hope it helped you.
it helped me.
Good.
Just to, it's even though we've been married 23 years, everything still is changing, and you still need to be able to communicate and talk about stuff like this.
Absolutely.
Because it always is changing. So, thanks for being my guinea pig.
I love you.
I love you.
Appreciate you. Proud of you.
Proud of you.
What's your catchphrase to say bye?
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.